Hey guys, I'm John from Character Red Workshop. If you're new here, I appreciate you checking out this video. If you're a returning viewer of the channel, I really appreciate you checking out this video. Now, if you watched my previous shop tour, you would probably notice that I had a router table that I haven't really showed any video of, and that is this table right here, the Woodpeckers PRP-1 premium router table package. So in this video, we're gonna finally unroll the footage of me unboxing all of this stuff and then putting it together for the assembly process, starting with the stand, then moving to the table, going to the super fence, and it also has an offset, that way you can use it as a joining feature. And then the last thing we're gonna do is set up our precision router lift and drop our Bosch router into it and level this thing. And you will be there to see every step. That way, if you want to put this together and you're thinking about buying it, you can see exactly how it comes together. So the first thing that we are going to unbox is the actual router tabletop, and it's going to come with a couple of the super fence tracks, and it's going to come with one featherboard track and all of the mounting hardware. The next thing that I'm going to do is lay out all of these items, that way I ensure with the instructions that I have everything for this package. Now we're going to move on to the unboxing of the Precision Router Lift, and it comes with a few things including the wrench, the rings for your router bits, and then a majority of the actual lift is already pre-assembled for you, so it's pretty easy. And then you got some of the items that hold the router in place. Next in the unboxing process, I'm pulling out all of the items for the super fence and ensuring that everything is there. That's one of the important steps, is laying everything out and ensuring that it's there from the packaging. That way you have no issues whenever you dive into the instructions. And now we are down to the final two things that we have to unbox. So this is going to be the table stand and the wheel kit, and you're going to need both sets of instructions to complete them because they kind of mirror each other. You can have this router table without the wheel kit, so make sure you are following the instructions for whichever kit that you have. So I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence by flashing all of these parts across the screen, but this was something that I struggled with the most with the stand, because the stand parts all look very, very similar. Most of them are all 20-inch braces. I wanted to do this for you, that way I lay them out visually, that way you know what you're looking at. So once you get everything unboxed, you'll see that it is kind of intimidating, and that's why I felt the need to produce this video, because quite honest with you guys, this router table sit in my garage unassembled for about a week. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Woodpeckers' instructions, because they are actually really great, and if you pay attention to them, they walk you step by step through everything. But if you're a visual learner like myself, this might be the perfect video for you. And let's get this bad boy put together, and I hope it helps you assemble your PRP-1. All right, I'm super pumped because now we are in the process of assembling this thing. In step one, we are going to assemble the first leg and the 20-inch brace, and then we're going to add the upper and the lower for the next couple of steps. Once those 3 braces are on the first side, you're going to take step 4 and repeat on the other side. Now this is going to complete the first side of the stand, and then we can make sure all the screws are tight and that it's ready to go and set it aside. For step 5, we're going to assemble the second side of the stand, and I'd like to take this opportunity to show you kind of how I lay things out. So I normally take all of the hardware that I'm going to use for that side, and I'm going to lay it out. This kind of keeps me organized and it saves me a little bit of time. So you can use it if you want, you can not use it, but just kind of a little tip that I like to do when I'm assembling things like this. Now I'm attaching the bottom long shelf braces to both sides, and that is going to start to bring this stand together. Once you get to this point, you're probably going to start noticing that in the instructions it's kind of like a lot of rinse and repeat, and you're just going to be doing the same actions over and over again until it's done. But the first couple of steps are definitely the hardest to grasp. And now that I come to think of it, I haven't really showed you guys an up-close look of how I'm attaching these screws, and it's just simple with the little nuts that they provide. If you want a closer look, you can go to Instagram at character_red_workshop and get a closer look of everything that I'm doing, even before it hits YouTube. Over there, you can get a little bit more behind the scenes. You can always send me a DM. I'm always willing to help out in any builds or any advice. And I also really like to be inspired by other makers. So if you have some time, go over to Instagram and let's inspire each other. Okay, so once you flip this stand over and you're at this point, you are getting ready to start assembling your wheel kit and make sure that everything is set up for that. So 2 of these leveling feet, if you read the instructions and you have a wheel kit, you will not need to use. I did not read the instructions, so I put this on and then I had to take them back off and take a couple of other screws out. So make sure you read your instructions for the version of the router table stand that you have. Now, during this portion of the stand build, you are going to refer to the wheel kit instructions that came in your wheel kit assembly. The steps are pretty simple, and a majority of it is pre-assembling everything that came in with your hardware for the caster bracket. The third step is a simple assembly with sliding a carriage bolt through here and attaching it. And then when you get into step 4, you're going to assemble the pedal that's actually going to lift this up off the ground and get it mobile whenever you need to move it around in the shop. Once you get done assembling it over on your workbench, take it over to your stand and attach it, and we're ready to move on to the next portion. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why instructions are so important. And if I would have just read the instructions, I would have saved a couple of steps that I had to do. But I wanted to throw this in here to show you that if you're not careful and you don't read the instructions they provide, you're gonna have some issues with this assembly process. Once you get the wheels tightened down to where you like it, congratulations, you have completed the stand, and now we can move on to the actual router table assembly. So the first thing that we are going to do with the table assembly is hand tighten all of the leveling screws and set them in place. To me, this was one of the most annoying parts of the project, and it was putting all of the little fasteners on all of these nuts. That way they could, I said nuts, I know, I'm a child, but that way all of the T-tracks could slide into these little fasteners and ultimately get tightened down and held into place. So I actually already know what you've been thinking this entire time is I actually forgot a couple of the pieces of the stand, and I actually did because they don't come into play until right about now. So in your fifth step towards your table assembly, you are going to attach your stand to the table. And in doing so, you are going to use your floating shelves in the next step, in step 6 of your table. Just know that it's in the instructions and you're gonna do it whenever you get the stand and the table pretty much fully assembled. And now that I'm sending the last few screws in these floating shelves, it's time to take a moment and appreciate everything that we have accomplished, because we have the stand and we have the table, and the table is already mounted on the stand. But we got to remember that we still have to complete the super fence and the precision router lift. So that's coming up in these next few steps. Alright, so now that I've flashed all of those parts and all of that prepackaged hardware across the screen, it's time to get into our first step on the super fence, and that is assembling our dust collection port. And that comes in a few easy steps on the instructions. It'll be right on the front page. I did have to use a drill because I couldn't do it by hand. The second part of the super fence assembly is super easy. You're going to attach the dust collection port and the base together, and then you're going to move into the next step, which is attaching the side brackets. And after that, you're going to move into the offset bracket. Remember, the side bracket and the offset bracket are two different things. Your offset bracket should be on the left side of the router bit when you're looking at it on the table. That way it will enable that joining feature of the table, and they definitely look distinctly different. In the next step, you're going to mount the fence to the table. I didn't end up doing that because I had a hardware issue that I had to work out with Woodpeckers, and luckily they handled it very quickly. So I just moved on to step 6, and that was assembling the offset bracket. That way it could enable the joining feature that I was talking about in the previous step. Step 7 is attaching the outfeed fence, and then we're going to move into step 8, which is the infeed fence as well. Once I got both of the fences on, I wanted to take an opportunity to show you how the offset bracket could be used to bring your piece out, and that's the joining feature. If you would like to see a video on this in the future, please let me know down in the comments below, and if I get enough people, I will definitely make a video showing you how to joint your boards using this Woodpeckers PRP-1. So once this is all complete, we are going to move over to the actual stand and the table and attach this fence into the T-slots. After getting this accomplished, I'm going to take the time and try to make sure that this entire thing is squared up. And now that I've checked and made sure that this entire table is square, we're gonna move into the last step of this super fence, and that's going to be attaching your sacrificial fence and your T-slots for any accessories that you want to add to this thing. Like I said, that's it. Congratulations, your super fence is now put together and complete. With 3 parts of this process complete, we are finally in the home stretch, and that is assembling the precision router lift. First, you're going to assemble the lift wrench, and that is on the first page of the precision router lift instructions that Woodpecker provides you. Pretty simple. You slide the spring on, you put the little collet in, you attach the handle, and you tighten the screw, and that's pretty much it. Then you're going to actually put your base down and make sure the wrench moves your base. If you feel any drag whatsoever, the instructions tell you to adjust it and then try it again. Now we can flip our base back over, and we're going to attach the motor pads that are actually going to hold the router motor in place. So make sure you follow the instructions. They provide a little wrench for you. It was super easy. And once you get these in place, the next step, you probably can already guess, you're gonna drop your router motor in there. And we're almost ready to turn this bad boy on. And now we have made it to the last and final step of this 4-part evolution, which is just flipping it over, making sure the wrench turns it and your router moves up and down. Adjust it if it has any drag. And congratulations, it's time to enjoy your precision router package #1 from Woodpeckers. I appreciate you guys staying along this far in the journey, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. You've earned it, and we will catch you on the next one. We'll see you guys.